presentations that I do, this verse comes up because I think it's so pivotal when we talk about emotional and mental issues. And then Matthew 6, 25, 27, 31, and 34. Those of us who know this part of the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus is saying some important things to us about thoughts. And I want to take the time to read some of these. 31 and 34, and you'll see what he's saying to us. Matthew 6, verse 25. Therefore I say unto you, take no what? Thought for your life, what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body than raiment? And in verse 27 he says, which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit unto his stature? Which of you by thinking hard enough can make yourself grow? You can't. 31. Therefore take no, the word again, thought, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or wherewithal shall we be clothed? Jesus is saying, don't spend a lot of time thinking about this. Trust in me. And finally, verse 34, take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. Sometimes I've repeated this verse if I'm going through something, or I'm trying to think, oh, how am I going to deal with this situation? And the verse comes to my mind, take no thought therefore for tomorrow. I have to think about what I can do today, and that really reduces my stress. Read and memorize other sources of inspiration. We should be weeding out of our thoughts all complaining and fault-finding. Let us not continue to look upon any defects that we may see. Think about things like that. We have to weed those thoughts out of our mind. Another inspiring quote, he, referring to Christ, died for me that I might be blessed and that his joy might remain in me. Therefore, I keep my mind in that channel. I educate it. I train it. I train my tongue. I train my thoughts. I train all that there is of me that I may fasten it upon Jesus Christ. And when you train something, it means that you rehearse it over and over and over, or you teach it, I should say, over and over and over again. And we need to train these minds and thoughts because some of these things do not come naturally. Something else she shares. There are many who make life's burdens doubly heavy by continually anticipating trouble. If they meet with adversity or disappointment, they think that everything is going to ruin, that theirs is the hardest lot of all. And she tells us they bring wretchedness upon themselves by what they're thinking. But it need not be thus. It will cost a determined effort. What kind of effort? A determined effort, meaning we're going to have to put forth some perseverance, some energy to change the current of their thought. But the change can be made. Their happiness, both for this life and the life to come, depends upon their fixing their minds upon cheerful things. So if we resolve to fix our mind on cheerful things, for our thoughts to be cheerful, it will have an impact on this life and our life eternally. Another quote, there must be a constant, earnest, struggling against evil imaginings of the mind. There must be a steadfast resistance of temptation to sin in thought or act. It's a process of getting these thoughts together. I don't want you to at all think this is easy. You have to constantly work on it. But as with anything, the more you work on it, the easier it gets. And I also want you to understand that what we eat can have an impact on our thoughts. Thoughts are controlled by the brain, which is part of the central nervous system. The condition of our central nervous system impacts our thoughts. In order to have healthy, truth-filled thoughts, we must eat foods that will strengthen the nervous system. If we don't do this, our efforts to change our thinking will be much more difficult. So we have to be careful what we're eating if we're trying to control our thoughts. Foods that will heal the nervous system include the components from the original diet given to us by God in Eden, which was fruit, grain, nuts, and then after sin entered the world, vegetables. All of these foods have wonderful effects on our nervous systems and in turn will help us have healthier thoughts. Foods that irritate the nervous system, white sugar, caffeine, saturated fat, which includes meat and fried foods, alcohol, irritating spices. We must watch these foods. If we're having problems with our thoughts, we have to watch the intake of these foods because it will affect the nervous system, which will in turn affect the thoughts. You don't think about these things, do you? But we need to think about that. The brain and nerves are in sympathy with the stomach. Erroneous eating and drinking results in erroneous what? Thinking and acting. My favorite health educator said that, and I truly believe that's the case. Sugar is not good for the brain. It causes fermentation, and this clouds the brain and brings peevishness, fretful, irritable, discontented state into the disposition. We have to recognize that the more we know, the freer we will be. And this says the truth will set you free from depression, but I want to add to that, the truth will set you free from any type of difficulties you're dealing with. The Bible tells us you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So I pray today that the things we have shared with you will give you more truth to help you to have better thoughts and to live a better life. Again, if you're more interested in our organization, Be in Good Health, you could go to www.beinggoodhealth.com, and we'll be glad to help you in any way that we can. Remember, what you think, you will become. God bless you.